Every day, without even noticing, we make choices that slowly shape our entire life. And here's the simple truth most people ignore. The tiny things you do daily matter far more than the big moments you wait for. These small habits quietly build your strength, your mindset, and the way you respond when life becomes difficult. This is your hook point. Your life changes not in the dramatic moments, but in the small repeated actions you hardly think about. Many people look for huge breakthroughs, but real change comes from the things you do consistently, even when they seem unimportant. The way you build a mind that doesn't break under pressure begins with a clear purpose, not just with forcing yourself through discipline. If every morning you wake up pushing yourself to do things only because you feel you must, you will eventually burn out. But when your actions are connected to something meaningful to you, something bigger than comfort or routine, you find a deeper strength that keeps you moving even on the days when everything feels heavy. When your behavior is tied to a mission, a belief, or a goal that touches you emotionally, you gain a reason to keep going, not just the discipline to start. Another powerful thing is learning to face the hardest parts of your day before anything else. Most people run away from discomfort because it feels safer to avoid struggle. But those who become truly strong train themselves to step toward what is uncomfortable. The difficult conversations, the tasks that feel overwhelming, the decisions that stretch your limits. Doing these things first not only builds confidence, but also teaches your mind to see challenges as chances to grow instead of threats to fear. Hard moments will come for everyone, and pretending they won't only makes you weaker. What matters most is how you choose to think about those moments. The meaning you give to an experience can either break you or help you rise above it. This is why learning how to reframe situations is a powerful skill. When something goes wrong, instead of believing it means you aren't good enough, you can choose to see it as information that helps you adjust. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to give up, you can choose to see them as steps that prepare you for the next level. The way you interpret challenges shapes the strength of your mind far more than the challenge itself. No one builds a strong mindset by isolating themselves. The people around you influence you more than you realize. They either lift you higher or drag you down without you noticing. If you truly want to become someone who stays strong under pressure, surround yourself with people who push you, who expect more from you, who believe in your potential even when you doubt yourself. The people in your life shape the quality of your thoughts, your habits, and the standards you hold for yourself. And the truth that many people avoid is this: consistency will always beat intensity. Motivation fades, and energy goes up and down, but the habits you repeat daily stick, whether you feel inspired or not. The people who create real success are the ones who show up day after day, even when they feel tired or uncertain. Being unbreakable is not about being without fear. It's about facing fear and acting anyway. It's about showing up on the days when it matters least, because those days create the strength you need for the days when it matters most. When you remember why you started, when your purpose is clear, no doubt, no failure, and no fear can fully break you. People often hear that discipline is the key to success, and while discipline is helpful, it is not the core that keeps people moving during the hardest moments. If discipline alone were enough, everyone who starts a new habit with strong discipline would succeed. But we know that most people quit. The real reason is that discipline without purpose runs out quickly. Discipline is like a battery. It drains over time. Purpose is more like a constant power source. It keeps going and creates its own energy. When your actions are tied to something meaningful, something personal, something that matters deeply to you, everything changes. What once felt like a chore begins to feel like a mission. What once needed constant effort starts to feel natural and necessary. Think about someone who wakes up at 4 a.m. every day to train for a marathon. They don't do it simply because they have discipline. They do it because they connected that action to something important, proving something to themselves, honoring someone they care about, or discovering what they're truly capable of. Or think about an entrepreneur who works late into the night. They're not chasing exhaustion. They're chasing a dream that they believe in deeply. Or think about a single parent working 2 jobs, still finding the strength to support their family. Their purpose pushes them beyond their fatigue. When your habits are tied to purpose, you no longer need motivation. The action becomes automatic because it becomes part of who you are. But how do you actually find that purpose? It starts with asking yourself a simple question. Why does this matter to me? Not why it sounds good. Not why other people think it's important. Not why society values it. Why does it matter to you personally? Take any habit you want to build. Waking up early, exercising, reading, working on a dream, and ask yourself why you want to do it. Then ask yourself why again. And again. Keep asking until you reach a reason that feels emotional, something that touches your heart instead of just your mind. Purpose is emotional. It's the feeling that gives you energy even when you're exhausted. It's the reason that makes your heart beat faster. It's the thought that pushes you forward even when every part of you wants to stop. For example, if you want to start exercising every day, your first answer might be that you want to be healthier. But that's not deep enough. Why do you want to be healthier? Maybe because you want to feel better. Why is that important? Maybe because you want to feel more confident. Why does confidence matter? Maybe because you want to show up as your best self for the people you love or for the goals you dream about. Now you have a reason that can carry you through tough days. The same applies to building a business. If your only goal is to make money, you will lose motivation quickly. But if your deeper reason is to create something meaningful, something that helps others, or something that lasts beyond you, then you have a purpose that survives setbacks. Many people struggle with consistency not because they are weak, but because they are forcing themselves to do things they don't feel connected to. Without purpose, every task becomes a burden. With purpose, even difficult tasks feel meaningful. When purpose is missing, discipline feels like pushing a heavy weight uphill. When purpose is present, discipline becomes devotion. It becomes something you choose, not something you force. When you connect your daily actions to a meaningful reason, everything becomes easier. But when that connection is missing, you begin to resent the process. You feel like you are constantly fighting yourself. This is why so many people burn out. They rely only on willpower, which is not meant to carry them forever. But when you shift your focus from what you do to why you do it, things change. Think about someone running into a burning building to save someone. They don't do it because they are disciplined. They do it because they have a purpose that is stronger than fear. Purpose turns fear into action. Purpose turns difficulty into commitment. Purpose makes the impossible feel possible. When you look at your everyday behaviors, ask yourself honestly if these habits are connected to something meaningful. If not, it's time to look deeper and find the reason behind them. When your actions are tied to purpose, the hard days become part of the journey instead of something that blocks your path. You stop wondering if you can keep going because deep inside you already know you will. Every day we face choices that shape who we become. Some choices feel comfortable and easy. Others feel uncomfortable and push us further than we are used to. The difference between people who grow and people who remain stuck is not intelligence or luck. It is the repeated decision to choose the difficult things over the easy ones. Most people try to avoid discomfort. It is natural to delay, to procrastinate, to tell yourself you will face the hard thing later. But later rarely comes, and when it does, you often feel too tired or too distracted to deal with it properly. Many people struggle not because they are unable, but because they keep choosing what feels comfortable instead of what is necessary. A common pattern is that people start their day with small tasks that feel productive but make no real difference. Then, by the time they reach the important tasks, the ones that matter most, they are already drained. This is how progress gets delayed. But people who are resilient and successful live differently. They do not avoid hard things, they go toward them. They train their mind to see difficulty as something useful, not something to escape. They face the hardest task first, not because they enjoy difficulty, but because they understand what it creates: growth, strength, and momentum. Think of how most people handle their mornings. The alarm rings, and the first decision arrives: get up or press snooze. Most people choose the easier option. It feels nice for a moment, but it sets the tone for a day built on avoiding challenges. Meanwhile, the people who decide to get up without negotiating with themselves take control immediately. This small decision creates momentum that carries into every part of their day. This idea goes far beyond waking up early. It applies to the conversations we avoid, the big dreams we delay, the work we keep putting off. Every time you avoid something difficult, you strengthen the habit of avoidance. But each time you face a challenge head-on, you strengthen your resilience. Think of elite athletes. They do not spend time doing only what feels easy or comfortable. They push themselves beyond their limits because they understand that true strength is built in discomfort. The same rule applies to life. If you stick only to what is easy, you never grow. If you only do what you are already good at, you never improve. But if you consistently challenge yourself, if you intentionally place yourself in situations that require more effort, your mind and body adapt quickly. Things that once felt impossible eventually feel normal. But let's be honest, facing difficult things first is not something that comes naturally. You have to train your mind to see challenge in a new way. Instead of focusing on the discomfort, you need to focus on the but by learning from it. The moment you choose to face your challenges instead of hiding from them is the moment everything begins to change. Your actions become sharper, your confidence becomes deeper, your direction becomes clearer. You become someone who is not controlled by fear, doubt, or hesitation. You become someone who acts with intention, someone who grows through adversity, someone who others look at and say, they don't just survive, they rise. This is going to help me grow. Words shape your thinking, and your thinking shapes your actions. The more you train yourself to view hard things as opportunities, the easier they become to face. A great way to build this mindset is by starting with small challenges every day. Take a cold shower. Not because you want to, but because it reminds your mind that discomfort is not dangerous. Or start your day by finishing the most difficult task on your list before doing anything else. Not only does this free your mind for the rest of the day, but it also builds confidence. Every time you finish something challenging, you prove to yourself that you can. And this confidence multiplies over time. The more you practice this, the more you begin to see yourself differently. You stop asking, can I handle this? Because your actions have already shown you the answer. Eventually, difficult tasks that once felt overwhelming start to feel manageable. You become someone who acts instead of someone who avoids. This shift creates a mindset that becomes harder and harder to break. Avoiding hard things may feel good in the moment, but the problems only grow. A difficult conversation avoided becomes even harder later. Neglecting your health today creates bigger issues tomorrow. Avoidance does not remove problems, it delays them. And delayed problems often become worse. On the other hand, facing challenges before they grow removes stress before it takes hold. It keeps problems small instead of allowing them to grow into something overwhelming. You free yourself from the constant mental weight of unfinished tasks and unresolved issues. The best part is that the more you practice doing hard things first, the easier it becomes. Actions that once caused fear eventually become normal. Difficult tasks that used to stop you become familiar. You no longer become someone who wonders if they should act. You become someone who does act. If you want to build a mindset that stays strong under pressure, begin today. Look at the hardest thing in your life right now and take one step toward it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but now. Every time you face something difficult, you are not just completing a task. You are training your mind to be stronger for the future. Life is not defined by what happens, but by how you understand and respond to what happens. Two people can go through the same difficult moment and come out with completely different outcomes. One person may break while the other grows stronger. The difference is not in the event itself, but in the meaning they give it. This is why learning how to reframe situations is so powerful. It gives you control over your experience, even when you cannot control the situation. Reframing does not mean pretending things are easy. It does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing a point of view that gives you strength instead of taking it away. It allows you to turn failure into feedback instead of a reason to quit. It helps you see rejection not as proof that you are not enough, but as proof that you are trying something challenging. Most people face difficulties and immediately fall into negative thinking. They ask themselves why something bad is happening to them. They focus on what's unfair, what they lost, or what they wish was different. But strong people ask a different question: how can this help me? Instead of seeing adversity as punishment, they see it as preparation. Instead of viewing a challenge as something blocking their path, they view it as part of their path. Imagine two people losing the same job. One falls into fear and doubt. They think the loss defines their value. They feel stuck and powerless. The other person sees the same situation and thinks, maybe this is an opening. Maybe this is my chance to build something new. Both people experience the same event, but their meaning shapes their future. Reframing gives you power in moments when you feel powerless. It reminds you that you may not control every situation, but you always control the meaning you give it. People who succeed in any field have mastered this skill. They have failed many times, but they refuse to let those failures define them. They saw every setback as a step forward. They saw every rejection as a redirection to something better. They saw every obstacle as a lesson. This mindset is what allows them to keep moving when others quit. One way to practice reframing is to question your thoughts when something goes wrong. Instead of accepting the first negative thought that comes to mind, interrupt it. Ask yourself, is there another way to understand what happened? What can I learn from this? How can this situation make me stronger? Changing your perspective does not erase the problem, but it changes how the problem affects you. Another way to strengthen this skill is to intentionally expose yourself to challenges. When you choose difficult experiences instead of avoiding them, you train yourself to stay calm and focused when life becomes tough. People who succeed in life didn't become resilient by avoiding struggle. They became resilient by facing it again and again until their mind learned how to handle it. You can practice reframing in everyday situations. If you are stuck in traffic, instead of feeling frustrated, see it as a chance to slow down and think. If you have a difficult conversation coming, instead of fearing it, see it as an opportunity to grow. When plans fall apart, look for what you gained instead of what you lost. Life gives you small chances every day to reshape your thinking, and the more you practice the skill, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you will begin to automatically reframe situations instead of reacting with frustration or negativity. You will not just survive challenges, you will grow because of them. Your mindset becomes stronger because you have trained it to see every situation as something you can use, not something that can break you. When you stay focused on growth instead of fear, you begin to notice that many limits you once believed in were never real. They were created by old experiences, old doubts, or other people's opinions. Once you learn to question these limits, they lose their power. Many people never reach their potential not because they are incapable, but because they accept limits that were never truly theirs. They assume they can only go so far, only aim so high, only try certain things. But when you challenge these invisible walls, you realize they are much weaker than you thought. Your mind adapts quickly when you push beyond what feels comfortable. What once felt too difficult becomes normal. What once felt out of reach becomes a starting point. Growth happens slowly at first, but once you break through the first layer of doubt, you begin to see new paths you did not notice before. People often think confidence comes from success, but real confidence comes from doing things even when you are unsure. It comes from taking action when fear tells you to stop. Every time you overcome hesitation, confidence grows. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the result of choosing action despite doubt. The more you build this kind of confidence, the more your sense of identity changes. You begin to see yourself as someone who handles challenges instead of someone who avoids them. And that shift changes everything. Your goals seem more realistic. Your dreams feel more possible. Your decisions become bolder. You stop holding back because you trust yourself in a deeper way. There will always be moments where things don't go as planned. There will be times when you make mistakes, when you fall short, when something unexpected interrupts your progress. But these moments do not erase your growth. They do not define you unless you allow them to. Mistakes are a natural part of progress. They are not proof that you are failing. They are proof that you are trying something meaningful. When you look at people who achieve great things, you might notice how calm they appear during stress. They are not calm because their life is easy. They are calm because they have trained their mind for difficulty. They have experienced setbacks and learned they can recover. They have faced fear and learned it does not control them. Their calmness is built, not gifted. Think about how much energy is lost when you worry about things you cannot control. Stress often comes from imagining outcomes that never even happen. Most people spend more time fearing problems than solving them. But when you redirect your focus toward what you can influence right now, your stress decreases. You regain power. You stop wasting energy on things that do not move you forward. A useful approach is to divide your thoughts into two groups, what you can control and what you cannot. Then put your effort only into the first group. When you do this consistently, you become mentally lighter. You stop carrying unnecessary pressure. You begin to notice that many things you used to stress about no longer affect you in the same way. Building a stronger mind also requires learning how to silence the noise around you. Many people are influenced by the opinions of others. They seek approval so much that they forget what they actually want. They choose paths that look good to others instead of paths that feel right to them. But the truth is, no one else is living your life. No one else wakes up with your thoughts, your dreams, your responsibilities. The more you rely on outside approval, the more control you give away. When you stop trying to please everyone, you gain clarity. You gain freedom. You begin to choose based on your values instead of other people's expectations. This shift makes your decisions stronger and your direction clearer. Another challenge many people face is the belief that progress must be fast. They think if change doesn't happen quickly, it means they are not improving. But real growth is often slow and steady. It happens quietly in small wins that build over time. A single step may not look like much, but when repeated consistently, it creates transformation. Consistency is far more important than intensity. It is better to take small steps every day than to take big steps occasionally. Many people start strong and quit early because they rely only on motivation. But motivation rises and falls. Discipline, on the other hand, is stable. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you do not feel like it. And the more you practice discipline, the more powerful it becomes. If you want to transform your life, you must learn to separate feelings from actions. You cannot wait until you feel ready, because ready rarely arrives. You cannot wait until you feel motivated, because motivation is temporary. Successful people act first and allow motivation to follow. They do not negotiate with themselves. They make a decision and follow through. This creates a powerful momentum that carries them forward even on difficult days. When you train yourself to move even when it's uncomfortable, you become unstoppable. You stop letting temporary emotions control long-term decisions. You stop letting doubt slow down your progress. And you start to realize that your potential expands every time you take action. You might think you need more information, more time, or more confidence before you begin. But often, the opposite is true. Taking action gives you confidence. Starting now gives you clarity. Moving forward gives you the experience you thought you needed beforehand. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect moment, your progress accelerates. You begin to see results not because conditions improved, but because you finally moved. Another key part of building a powerful mindset is learning to stay patient during the process. Today's world encourages quick results. People expect immediate success and lose interest when progress slows. But real achievement requires patience. You cannot plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. Growth happens beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. Many people quit right before progress begins to show. They assume nothing is happening, when in reality, everything is happening. The skill is learning to trust the process, especially when results are not obvious yet. When you stay committed during the quiet stages, you build a level of perseverance that most people never develop. There will be times when you feel tired or discouraged. In those moments, it helps to remind yourself why you started. Not the small reasons, but the deep reasons. The reasons connected to who you want to become. These reasons act like fuel when your energy is low. They push you through the difficult moments. They help you stay focused when distractions appear. They give you strength when motivation fades. When your reason is strong enough, you can endure almost anything. And when you act consistently with that reason, you start shaping a version of yourself that is more confident, more focused, and more resilient. Everything you want, growth, confidence, discipline, strength, comes from choosing actions that match your goals, not your comfort. When you understand this deeply, you stop searching for shortcuts and start trusting the process. You know that difficulty is part of the journey. You know that setbacks help you grow. You know that your effort will eventually pay off. Instead of avoiding resistance, you learn to use it. Instead of fearing challenges, you face them. Over time, you develop a mindset that does not break easily. A mindset that allows you to stand strong even when life becomes chaotic. A mindset that turns obstacles into lessons and difficulties into momentum. This is how powerful people are built. Not in comfort, but in challenge. Not by avoiding struggles on the growth that discomfort creates. One effective way to make this shift is to change the language you use. Instead of saying, I have to do this, you can say, I get to do this. This small shift changes the way your mind experiences the task. Another example is replacing, this is going to be painful, with,